I promise you that. Look, it's lovely to see everybody here today. I felt like at one point that I'd be going out to the streets like the Bible and picking people off the street because everyone seemed to have escaped the country, everybody's gone. So I couldn't find anyone. So now I want to say that the last time I had an exhibition was 2008 and it was here and I ate half a potato over in Albert Walk and Nicola took me home and after that I didn't touch a paintbrush for 10 years. I sold everything, gave up the studio, didn't do anything, and I was very, very unwell. So around 2018, I wheeled into art and hobby, and I was shaking, trying to know what to buy, what to, get together to start all over again. And it really was very difficult because the energy wasn't there, focus wasn't there, and I'd literally forgotten. How do I start again after all that time? Because I literally didn't know. So I went a little bit figurative because I had to have a point of where I started so that hopefully it would develop. But then, life gets in the way and it was very sporadic and it was very changed. And so this is the result. So it's sort of flattered and there it is. It's great to see Brian here today. And I know Brian because his mother-in-law was a very steadying woman in my life. I wasn't going through a good time for a lot of my adult life. And Helen was a dear to me, a real beautiful woman. She died about a year and 18 months or 2 years ago. And Brian would have remembered me from those days, as does his family. So he's here today. So I feel that the last 10 years has been a kind of an awakening in many respects because that wasn't great as a young man, to be honest. But I kind of, I suppose you'd say I grew up. But it took time. I think the way I grew up was that I had major surgery in 2002 and I nearly died, and I think that would do it. So I then sort of said to myself, you better get your life together, Anne. But the rest of course, I didn't expect. So this is the result, and Brian is here to open this. And I'm quite pleased that it's on the wall anyway, so there you go. Thank you.
This is, I was going to mention Helen too. Helen was many, many things, but I'll tell you one thing about her. Probably the most powerful man in the state is the Secretary General of the Department of Justice. The man's name was Sean Aylward, and he, as far as I could gather, he was only afraid of one person in the state, and that was Helen. Helen was an activist par excellence, and it's delightful to see the role of activism in your life here today, both in the pictures, like this, and also in your text. The last time I was here, it was an exhibition from Gaza, from a young man who made a work a day. I'm being very cautious of the people who clamp one's car. Oh. Mine is outside the door. Forgive me for being distracted. That was a very powerful and unique exhibition. It interests me. I was thinking about that exhibition and this one, and they both came out of trouble. And the Gaza is very, most of us are very aware of it. But here you describe a troubled process in your life, where you were attacked by disease, etc. And for me it's very interesting, that you don't see this in the pictures, but I don't think the pictures would be here without that. I was thinking about Picasso, could anybody name one of Picasso's mistresses to me now, amongst us here? Yeah. I didn't think so. But you could name Guernica, the best work of artists are that which deals with the difficulties of life. That's the case here. I'm interested, you say there's a gap of 8 years, and I don't know, maybe we should all take a gap, because you prove its benefit here. These are absolutely wonderful works. I like to see just one on the wall, and then I see how powerful it is, how simple, how perfect, you know, and what I've just said applies to them all. You know, it's hard to see when they're home together. You know, I don't need to be critical because the room is small. This is the only free room in the whole of the city, including Dublin, as far as I know. I might be wrong, but this is a place which is easy to have an exhibition. I've seen lots of shows here that have begun the life at the other end, beginning of a career. Also, this is the most magnificent work, The Beast That Sows there. It's slightly different than the others. So I don't know what's happening, if that was early or late.
Which one?
This red, green one.
The green, not the late, that's the
Latest.
Yeah, the last one. Yeah.
Thinking so, because what happens with your work is you've used colour flat, as flat. And we both went to the same school,
Yeah.
Dunleary School of Art, way back, and I know that they really taught me that, how to build a painting by putting flat colour down, and how the colours interacted with each other.
Brian Burke was my painting teacher.
Brian Burke? Yeah, he would be good. I knew him in later life, recently. We used to, we were mental home examiners down the country. There's a story attached to that. It was good fun, if harrowing at times. Anyhow, that use of where you use flat colour to create space within the picture, it's unusual now. You don't see it so often used, and you say it evolved into this work. I refer to this one, which is a simple work saying no to abuse, and refers to abuse of a handicapped or
It was elder abuse.
elder abuse.
Yeah.
Again, it's an important statement about that. That picture will outlast all of us, because I'm assuming the abuse will not go away, but will remain, and the picture will have its validity. I think the two portraits here of yourself and the lady sitting are very powerful works. You get the space and size and capacity to move in this picture here. Pictures are still.
Which one is that?
This one, the one behind the man in the check.
This
one here?
This
Yeah.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
I was very, very ill, and I was recovering, and that was me in
That
the
was you.
hospital. Yeah.
That was much. So, this is the thing about it is, though, and this is where I want to kind of not necessarily argue with you, but maybe put a counterpoint, is that in this text, you write a lot about hesitancy, despondency, confusion, self-doubt, from a perspective of loss, etc. There's none of that in the pictures. You know, I'm not saying that's not true, and most artists feel that. They're consumed by self-doubt, which is perhaps the reason we continually go back to it, to try again.
Yeah.
It's the last thing I want to say is that this one over here, of the heart, or the red flower,
Yeah.
is perfect.
Even the petal, that was
Yeah.
one side was withering, and I thought, you know, that's what.
I know, but the thing is a thing of beauty. You see, our principal job as artists is to make works of beauty. The second job is to communicate whatever we want of them. If we don't achieve the first, the second falls on its face. The work will not last. But you have achieved the first. Congratulations. Thank you.